I think some good things to build on. Credit Chicago State. I thought they really came in, competed. They're really athletic. We had watched them, and their record obviously is what it is. But watched them against Loyola. They were in that game to the final minutes, lost by 6 at Loyola. We're down 3 at Wisconsin at halftime and played them tight in the second half, lost by 20 down there. So we knew, they're going to really compete. Scott's got them. They play hard. They're athletic. You could see early. I mean, they erased a bunch of plays at the rim with their athleticism. Thought, we competed. I think defensively we got to make a lot of strides. I thought the zone obviously, turned the game there with, when they cut it to 1, we went to that, and I thought stymied them. Just changed got them out of rhythm. But there were some good things offensively. I thought Gibb, sticking with it. He misses his first 7 or 8 shots, and doesn't lose confidence, keeps shooting the ball, which he needs to. He obviously works exceptionally hard at it. And then I thought I was proud of Swope. I told him, I don't have the luxury like I did in Indiana State of when he goes off the rails of pulling him, Indiana State I could just take him out and put Bledson in, and we would just operate and move forward if he wasn't in there mentally, and he wasn't in there mentally, and he struggles to course correct, and that's what I told him when I was talking to him as he came off the court after he pushed the guy on the ball screen and they made the N1, and it was the media was like, this is like he has to course correct, like otherwise, and I thought he really course corrected down the stretch. I thought he played really good the last 12, 13 minutes, got the ball at the rim, made some good plays, stuck a big 3, but made some big time plays on both ends of the floor, made some really good passes. And so proud to see him kind of figure it out there.
How big was the challenge with really only 7 guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it is what it is. It's, that's kind of the deal. Kobe was, a super emergency scenario, and 7's not a great number. But, it's, it is what it is. I think at the end of the day, coach's job is to maximize the personnel that they have available. Obviously every coach would like to have all their players available. Just hasn't happened for whatever circumstances, but you got to figure it out. So we try to play a little bit slower. We tried to, obviously we're playing more zone. We showed that against San Francisco. We only had 6 guys in the second half because Swope fouled out. So it was actually 7's an improvement. I felt like I had a deep bench to go to. So I was like living in the life of luxury over there with 7 guys. But no, and I thought it was good. Like Max and Amari are getting opportunities, and I don't know. That either guy is like necessarily ready for it, but the best way to learn is by being out there doing it. And so whether they're ready or not, as a coach, you don't want to play guys until they're ready. As a player, you want to play way before you're ready. But the best way to truly learn is to be out there and playing and figuring it out as you go and being thrown in the fire. And due to circumstances, those guys got to play, and they got to play a lot of minutes. And I thought both those guys. Amari was fine. I thought Max, did some good things. You could see he's got physically a long way to go, but his length and size and mobility, bother people. And so, it was to have 7. The zone saved a little bit. Swope got 3, and we were struggling to guard him. Like I said, we got a lot of things to clean up fundamentally, defensively that we've been working on. Obviously, it's not taken hold yet. We just got to continue to work on it.
Kellen gets through the game, which has got to be a significant.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. We limited his minutes. There was a little bit, it got a little dicey at one point in the second half, but he was able to kind of get settled in and come back in. I thought Kellen played great, and 23 minutes. And you can see the impact he has on our team. He gets 13 points, 4 rebounds. It's great to see him out there. Kid loves to play. He brings as much energy and juice to the game as you could possibly do. And so without him, obviously we're missing one of our best players, but you're also missing a guy that, really gets, from a crowd standpoint, from his teammate standpoint, he plays so hard, and he's so, he's got just a positive energy that's contagious. And so, we miss him in a lot of ways when he's not out there. So it was great to see him. We made some adjustments pregame to some things, to try to help him. And seems like it held up, and now we'll just keep hopefully building from there and see what we can do.
Does it bother you to play zone?
Does it bother me to play zone? Yes and no. No, in the sense that we played zone last year 100. We don't win certain games. I mean, SMU and we go to it if I feel like we can't guard man, we're struggling in man, or I feel like, they're hurting us with some action that we're struggling to adapt to. I would like to play zone. I don't like the fact that I think some of the things that we're making mistakes on, we're continuing to make mistakes on where, our positioning off the ball and the gaps, like we're trying to help early, but we're giving up, not paint touch, but just like perimeter threes where a guy's driving, we're not reading the drive, and they're getting off the ball and they're generating with chip threes. So, you want to correct those mistakes and not play zone because you feel like you can't correct them. Today was a combination of we were making the same mistakes. We gave up 8 threes. A lot of them were the same, same side help, over help. Kalu, we talked about it. KT did it a couple times in the first half where he overhelped off 11. He bangs threes. Come out first, that second half. Kalu overhelps on a reads a drive. They kick it. He makes another one. Like at some point, we have to understand that, how to help, be positionally sound. There has to be and that's not on. Ultimately, that's coaching. Like if guys aren't doing it right, it doesn't matter. What I know. It matters what they can do. No one cares what I know. It matters what the players actually do. So if they're not doing it, then that's poor coaching, whatever it is, however you spin it, I gotta get them to do what they need to do. And so that's on me, but I would prefer not to play zone for that reason. But I also, I used to be a big proponent, never played zone. I got over that a couple of years ago. We played the most zone we ever played last year, and today was about as much zone as I've played in the game, but also with numbers and the effectiveness of the zone, I thought it was worth it.
You've had doctors working on Kellen, but do you hear from fans? Have they been suggestions for cramp cures?
Yeah, you get some emails on cramp cures and all kinds of stuff. I don't know, like sleeping with an orange or, I think it's like a lot of things in life, there's a lot of opinions, few informed ones, right? So you just, trust the doctors, trust the people that do it for a living. KT wants to be out there. Kellen wants to be out there in the worst way. We've got intelligent doctors. We've got people that are, trying to find like anything, you can't solve a problem if you don't know what the problem is. We know there is a problem. We just don't know exactly why the problem is happening or what's the cause. And then once you know the cause, then you can, really dive into let's solve it. So step by step, but everybody's working. Hopefully this week gives us a chance to really, make some headway on that. It's been a rough stretch here. Of 6 games in 16 days, the travel, everything else. We have a chance now to kind of settle in and hopefully, because we're different when he's out there. There's no question we're not as good a team, just like no team's as good if some of their better players aren't playing. That's not in particular to us, that's anybody. So we want him out there, as much as he can be.
Was it kind of touch and go there in the second half? He was staying during timeouts, like joining the huddle. It was a
little bit. There was a moment where they're like, hey, we got to get him, and we got him out. And normally when that's happened, he hasn't been able to come back. He's been out. And so that happened maybe 14, 15 minutes in the second half. But he was able to, I don't know, I'm not on the bench I'm on the bench, but I'm not in where they are, to know what's happening with them. And so, but when they came back and said, he's good to go back, which, again, that's progress because so far when it's like he's had to come out, that's been the end of it. We haven't seen him again. And, that's progress. And like I said, they've, I know the doctors and our training staff, changed up what they did pregame with him. I think they tried to be proactive with IVs before the game versus, so I think they did a couple bags of IVs before the game. And again, I don't know what's working, what's not, but everybody's, searching. But for him to be able to play 23 minutes and be able to come back, and really, I don't think when I took him out with 5 minutes to go, that was just me taking him out because I didn't want to push it. And the game I felt like was in hand, but if that game was a 5-point game, I think he could have played closer to 27, 28 minutes.
What do you make of this trend with Gibson scoring 0 or 2 points and then having a big half? He's done 3 or 4 games this year. Is there anything Do that as a defense, just figuring out the defense, or?
No, I think with Gibson, I mean, so much of his game is making threes, and I think that just comes and goes. I mean, I don't think there's anything like, deep into it. Like, like he had a couple plays at the rim that he got blocked in the first half that, like he's probably got to, in those scenarios, I don't mind guys playing off one if they have space and an advantage, but you got to play off 2 feet and have paint patience if the defense. So if he shot fakes, those guys go flying. He's got layups and fouls. He's got to get better at that. But, I just think, ball goes in, ball doesn't. I don't think there was a huge difference in our shot profile in the first half, second half. First half, we were 4 for 16. Second half, we were 8 for 13. I don't know that I would say, like, we got way better shots. I mean, from a fan's perspective, the ball goes in, you got a good shot, the ball doesn't, you took a bad shot. Like, I get that. I know that's not you, Stu, but I'm saying in general. But I just think with Gibson, Gibson, so much of his game is predicated on making, his shooting, his gravity. That, in the first half, I thought he got pretty good looks. And when he got good looks, they didn't go in the second half. I thought, he made similar looks. But again, it's happened, like you said, 3 or 4 times. The good thing for Gibson is it's a little bit like Swope where, they can be off and then they're ignitable to get going. And then all of a sudden, he strings in, 3 or 4 in a row. I think he, had 19 in the second half? Is that right today? 18 second half? So did he score in the first? I don't think he scored in the first half.
16.
2 and 16, so yeah. So, and he's averaged 24 and 0. And so I just think, his ability to make threes, his ability to get going, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes defense does a really good job. I thought San Francisco made it, harder on him. But when he got good looks against San Francisco, they just didn't go down. But he found a way to 16 points through getting vertical, and he did a really good job getting the ball to the rim and finishing. Tonight, he got the ball to the rim in the first half. He just got his shot blocked, I think, like 3 times in the first half where he got the ball to the rim. Again, he's got to have better paint patience, recognize if it's an advantage, and if he has space or if he doesn't.
You guys scored 85 points. They shot 35%. You only had 10 fast break points. Is there something specific that you guys are trying to play more in the half court, trying to slow things down after making some mistakes when you're speeding it up?
Yeah, we're trying to I think on makes, I'm trying to probably take a little more control of what's going on and put them in positions versus, just coming down and playing. I think, my first year in Indiana State, I had to do that too. Like, we didn't play very conceptual my first year at Indiana State either. We just didn't have the personnel to do it. You got to, like I said, like my job's to maximize the personnel that we have available. So that's offensively, defensively. And so I think a little bit slower. We've not done a good job of playing off makes. I want to play fast off misses, of course. Off makes, we've not done as good a job of playing fast. We've not been as conceptual. We haven't been as getting vertical. So trying to put guys in more of a position to, do certain things and play certain ways, I think is probably for us gives us the best chance in the half court. Doesn't mean that we're not going to try to push, but we're probably going to, we've got to find a balance of playing, at a certain tempo. We weren't able to get out and run. We also didn't force, a ton of turnovers either. We only had, a couple steals and, didn't force a ton of turnovers. They did a good job taking care of the ball. So for us, but I do think you'll see us in the half court more than you have the last 2 years in Indiana State. I just think that's, maybe for this group gets them into some better situations and understanding what they're doing. And we got to continue to get better. We some of that's just, skill. We got to be able to, get guys who can enter the ball, do different things. But we'll play in the half court more, but I want to certainly still continue to play with pace.
And how helpful is it to have a guy like Kalu? He seems like he's becoming a better passer every game, and it seems like he's finding those seams that you always talk about better every single game. How much has he helped just the growth of the half-court offense over the last, just 2 weeks?
Oh, it's monumental. I mean, he's awesome in the seams. I mean, he's an awesome offensive rebounder. He's awesome in the seams. Like, Kalu's one of those guys, if he'll lock into what he can do and not worry about, maybe what he can't do, like, he's got a chance to be an all-league, like, 15-point, because his offensive game is there's things he can do at a really high level. He made a 3 today, and that was great. It was, great pass by Swope, good rim decision. Kalu shot with confidence. He's got to take that shot. But, he's trying to I thought he was much more active today than he was against San Francisco, where San Francisco was just kind of, loitering around the, at 15, 17 feet, which is, clogs up our spacing, doesn't do anything for him. He's not screening, he's not getting to action. I thought today he was much more purposeful with how he played. He was terrific. He was awesome. And a big reason why we played well offensively was his ability to, again, it seemed, like you said, his passing when Robbie was out. I thought he did a great job of finding guys, hit a couple back doors to Swope. He was fantastic. He's getting better and better, and we need him to play at that level to have a chance to make progress.
Yeah, there was Kalu on that list of options on that last play at the end of the first half.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask about.
How many options were there? It wasn't designed for that, but, you know, at the end of the day, you know, Swope, you know, he's got to do that. He's got to get off the ball. You know, we as a team, we got to do better at that. You know, draw a crowd and get off the ball to your teammates and hit the single. You know, like I said, and you know, it's not gymnastics. You don't get extra points for degree of difficulty and things. And he got off the ball at the appropriate time. You know, and Kalu, I mean, like I said, you know, he's got to shoot that shot if people aren't going to guard him. He's got to be able to confidently shoot that one. And then he's got to also just know, like, he can't live and die with threes. He's got to be able to get into action. But in that play, the way it worked out, like, honestly, that was the shot. That was the right play. Defense told us what to do. You know, Swope made the right play. And then, fortunately, you know, Kalu, first three of the year. But, you know, I know he's shown in practice, you know, he's capable. He usually makes them when the shot clock's running down, so maybe we just do it at the very end of the clock, because halftime, you know, the buzzer was going off. Like, he's got an uncanny ability to make things at the end of a clock, much more than he does in the flow of the game.
Is there anything off with Swope's three-pointer? His percentages are what they
Yeah.
He's
He's had some tough games. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, I think he's playing a lot of minutes. I think his knee, you know, is still, they're still see him, you know, kind of today. I think he tweaked his ankle. You know, you saw him just lace his shoe up tighter. He knows we have nobody, you know, to go to. So, you know, I think probably a little bit of fatigue, maybe a couple are short. A little bit, you know, we gotta look at the knee and figure out, you know, some solutions there. Guys are playing through stuff. You know, Kalu's been sick as a dog, but he's playing through it. You know, Swope's playing through some knee pain. I mean, guys are playing, you know, some of the guys are playing through, you know, some stuff that's pretty significant. And just because, again, just the amount of bodies we have out there, and it's hard to generate the right rest. I mean, I got them out, Gibbons, Swope out with 2.5 to go because the game was, you know, over. But other than that, they were going to have to go the full 40. There was really nowhere to go for us with those two guys. And so I think a little bit of a variety of things. And Swope is a streaky shooter, too. I mean, he can really get going. He'll have some games here where he hits 7 or 8 of them. And, you know, we'll have some nights like tonight and San Francisco where he's, you know, struggles from the three-point line. But it's you got to take care of the ball. He's got to put pressure on the rim. He's got to, you know, be the defender that he's capable of being. It's the other stuff where he can really, even if he's not making shots, he can really affect the game in a lot of ways.
Good.
Thanks, guys. See you guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely.